music industry is a liar. Every year, the charts crown winners and bury losers, and we accept this verdict as if sales figures were handed down from God himself. But here is a dirty little secret. Some of the greatest albums ever made were commercial disasters. Absolute flops that embarrassed their labels and destroyed careers. Tonight we are exposing 12 albums that the industry failed. Records that flopped so hard they nearly ended careers. Coming off the success of Hard Promises, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers seemed unstoppable. Long After Dark should have continued their winning streak, but instead it became the most overlooked album of their career. The album featured genuine gems like You Got Lucky, a driving rocker with one of Petty's most memorable choruses, and Change of Heart, which showcased the band's ability to craft perfect 3-minute pop songs. Mike Campbell's guitar work was as inventive as ever. The problem was timing. MTV was reshaping how music was consumed, and Petty's straightforward approach felt old-fashioned compared to flashier new wave acts. Radio programmers seemed unsure how to position the album, and it got lost in the shuffle. Today, Long After Dark is recognized as containing some of Petty's finest songs. After the experimental detours of Tusk, Fleetwood Mac returned to their Rumors formula with Mirage. The album should have been a triumphant comeback, but instead it felt like a band trying to recreate past glories while the world moved on. Hold Me was a perfect pop song showcasing the Buckingham-McVie chemistry, while Gypsy became a minor hit hinting at the album's potential. Lindsey Buckingham's production was meticulous as ever. The failure stemmed from shifting musical tides and internal tensions reaching a breaking point. MTV favored younger, more visual acts, and Fleetwood Mac's polished approach felt dated. Despite its commercial disappointment, Mirage contains some of the band's most underrated songs. By 1982, Cheap Trick was in crisis. Their label had lost faith, and they were on the verge of calling it quits. One on One was supposed to be their comeback, but instead it flopped so dramatically that it nearly ended their career. The bitter irony is that it contains some of their finest songs. If You Want My Love was a perfect power pop gem that should have been enormous. She's Tight combined their trademark humor with musical sophistication. While Dancing the Night Away demonstrated their ability to craft arena rock anthems. The production by Roy Thomas Baker gave the songs clarity and punch. MTV was becoming dominant, and Cheap Trick's straightforward rock approach did not translate well to the visual medium. Decades later, One on One stands as proof that commercial failure does not reflect artistic merit.
I've got the secret that I've been hiding under my skin.
Dennis DeYoung had a vision, a rock opera about a dystopian future where rock music was banned. Kilroy Was Here became one of the most notorious commercial failures of the decade, yet remains one of the most ambitious statements any arena rock band ever attempted. Songs like Mr. Roboto became cultural touchstones despite poor reception, while Don't Let It End proved the band could still craft emotional ballads. High Time remains one of their hardest rockers. Tommy Shaw quit during the tour. Critics dismissed it as pretentious. Fans felt betrayed by heavy synthesizer arrangements. The album's failure taught painful lessons, but it also represents their most artistically daring statement. Bad Company's final original album arrived at the worst possible moment. The band was fragmenting, Paul Rodgers was losing interest, and the industry was pivoting towards synthesizers. Rough Diamonds became their commercial low point, yet contains some of their most emotionally resonant music. The title track showcases Rodgers' voice at its most soulful. Electric Land features Mick Ralph's most inventive guitar work, while Painted Face demonstrates their ability to create atmospheric rock transcending their blues origins. By 1982, their straightforward rock felt outdated. Poor promotion did not help, as the band seemed disinterested in supporting what they knew would be their last release. Rough Diamonds deserves recognition as Bad Company's most mature work. off High Infidelity's massive success, REO Speedwagon faced impossible expectations. Good Trouble was their attempt to grow artistically. It ended up alienating the fans who made them superstars. The album featured a harder edge, with Follow My Heart and The Key presenting a more aggressive sound. Kevin Cronin's vocals remained powerful, and Gary Richrath's guitar work was solid as ever. The problem was, fans wanted another High Infidelity, not artistic growth. Radio programmers did not know how to categorize the new sound. Keep the Fire Burnin' became a minor hit, but the album never connected. Good Trouble represents REO Speedwagon at their most adventurous. After health problems forced Journey to take a break, Raised on Radio was supposed to mark their triumphant return. Instead, it became their most overlooked album, despite containing some of their finest songs. The title track showcased Steve Perry's voice at its most powerful. Be Good to Yourself combined pop sensibilities with a harder edge. I'll Be Alright Without You demonstrated they could still create emotional ballads. Neil Sean's guitar work was exceptional throughout. The industry was changing rapidly, with MTV favoring more visual acts. Journey's straightforward approach felt antiquated. Internal tensions affected their ability to promote effectively. Raised on Radio deserves recognition as a classic lost in the shuffle. Do you remember when radio actually played rock music that mattered? After conquering the 70s with Led Zeppelin-influenced hard rock, Heart attempted to adapt to the 80s. Private Audition was their attempt to embrace synthesizer-driven sounds, but it ended up satisfying neither old fans nor new listeners. The album showcased Ann Wilson's incredible voice in new contexts. This Man Is Mine was a sleek pop rock track hinting at future directions. The production was immaculate.
Using every little trick I know.
But Heart found themselves caught between identities. Hard rock fans felt betrayed. Pop audiences did not know who Heart was supposed to be. Private Audition deserves reconsideration as a transitional album showing Heart's willingness to evolve. Ronnie James Dio had proven himself as one of metal's greatest vocalists. His solo band achieved success with their first two albums. Sacred Heart should have cemented his dominance. Instead, it underperformed dramatically. The album featured ambitious songwriting with epic tracks, showcasing his powerful voice and Vivian Campbell's virtuosic guitar. The title track was a metal anthem deserving stadium sing-alongs. Hungry for Heaven demonstrated his ability to craft accessible songs without sacrificing heaviness. Metal was changing around Dio. Younger bands with bigger hair dominated MTV. Dio's fantasy imagery suddenly felt dated. Sacred Heart deserves recognition as one of the finest pure heavy metal albums of the decade. Blue Oyster Cult spent the 70s as one of rock's most intelligent bands. By 1985, they were desperate to remain relevant. Club Ninja was their attempt to modernize, and it became a commercial disaster that ended their mainstream career. The album featured polished, 80s-appropriate production, yet underneath, the songwriting remained strong. Perfect Water showcased their ability to craft melodic hard rock with substance. The failure came from an industry that decided Blue Oyster Cult was yesterday's news. MTV ignored them. Radio focused on younger acts. Club Ninja deserves reconsideration as a solid album from a band that never stopped trying. Before Cuts Like a Knife made him a star, Bryan Adams released a self-titled debut that nobody bought. The album vanished so completely that even devoted fans forget it exists, yet it laid the foundation for everything that would make him a superstar. The album featured Adams' signature raspy vocals and Jim Valance's sharp songwriting already fully formed. Hidden from Love and Remember showed a young artist capable of crafting memorable rock songs. The problem was nobody was paying attention. Adams was unknown with no promotional budget. Bryan Adams' debut deserves recognition as proof that first impressions can be catastrophically wrong. A former Beatle collaborating with Elvis Costello at the peak of his powers, Flowers in the Dirt should have been celebrated as a masterpiece. Instead, it was ignored by critics tired of McCartney's inconsistency and a public that had moved on. My Brave Face was a perfect pop song showcasing McCartney's melodic genius. This one demonstrated his ability to craft emotionally resonant ballads. Put it, there was a touching tribute to his father. The collaboration with Costello brought out the best in both songwriters. McCartney's vocals were strong as ever. The production was crisp and modern without sacrificing organic feel. The album's failure reflected changing priorities and McCartney's reputation for inconsistency. Flowers in the Dirt stands as proof that McCartney's songwriting genius never faded, even if the world was not ready to appreciate it. These 12 albums prove that the charts are liars. Commercial success does not reflect artistic merit. The industry makes mistakes constantly, burying masterpieces while celebrating mediocrity. Which underrated classic from the 80s do you think should have been a massive hit? Tell us in the comments, because the conversation about these forgotten masterpieces is long overdue.